As dawn crept over the Shander Highlands, a haunting silence clung to the cliffs. High above Uzra, the golden eagle queen, sat unmoving, her piercing gaze locked onto frozen land below. Something unseen had returned, something ancient, and the wind, once a friend, carried only warnings. Today, the skies would remember. Movie camera if this mysterious start gripped you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. More untold wildlife legends await. Far below the silent watch of the Eagle Queen, the brittle grasses of the valley stirred. Not with wind, but with warning. Something sleek and sinister threaded its way through the rocks, a ripple of death cutting across the highland floor like a shadow come to life. It moved slowly, deliberately, with the kind of confidence only monsters wear. Scales gleamed in the cold morning light, obsidian black lined with molten gold, as 12 feet of raw muscle and venom pulled itself from the earth. Zard had returned. He wasn't just a predator. He was a curse. The villagers far below the mountains still spoke his name in hushed tones, praying their livestock would never vanish in the night. They said he'd faced leopards and lived, slid into wolf dens and emerged unchallenged. But here, in the high crags of his domain, his presence meant something far more personal. For Uzra, it was not fear that stirred in her chest. It was memory. She saw again the moment Idris, her mate, dove toward prey near the river bend. The flash of fangs, the cut-off screech, and then the silence, that horrible, echoing silence that filled the skies where he should have soared. She had searched for days, her cries ringing through the canyons like shattered prayers. All she found was one crimson-feathered token caught on a thorn. Now, that same serpent twisted toward the very heart of her sanctuary, the ledge where her chick still slept beneath a curtain of moss and stone. The world seemed to dim. Even the wind, ever loyal to Uzra's wings, fell quiet as though it, too, feared what crawled beneath the cliffs. There would be no mistake this time, no hesitation, no mercy, because the serpent had returned to finish what he started, and Uzra was ready. There was no thunderclap, no cry to the heavens, no grand announcement, only a sudden shift in the air, a pull like the world inhaling. And then, with the grace of a whispered promise, Uzra took flight, her wings unfurled like ancient banners, each feather catching the light as if stitched by flame and gold. The cold air, one still and watching, moved with her now, not against her, but as though it remembered who she was. She rose not like a bird, but like a fury awakened, the sky bending to the shape of her wrath. This was not the hunt of hunger. This was the rise of a mother who had loved, who had lost, and who had vowed never again. Below, Zart paused. His senses, sharp as ever, caught the disturbance above. He lifted the top third of his body, that flared wide like a royal crown of death, tongue flickering rapidly, reading vibrations like scripture. He had faced challengers before. He had seen fear in the eyes of beasts. But this quiet, controlled descent of wings and will was something different. There was no panic in Uzra's movements, only precision, calculation, cold fire. She did not scream. She did not rush. She tested him once, twice, 3 times, each past a brush with death, a dance written in wind. Her talons flashed like blades, her timing divine, and each time she soared just beyond his strike, forcing him to exhaust himself, making the serpent reach farther, faster, angrier. The valley watched breathless. Even the predators paused. Marmots froze in their burrows. A snow fox halted mid-prowl, ears pricked not for prey but for prophecy. Above them, the queen had returned, not as a ruler perched on stone, but as a force too powerful for legend alone to hold. Uzra was no longer just a guardian of the cliffs. She had become the storm itself. The wind shrieked between the peaks as predator met predator, sky met earth. Uzra a dove, this time not a test, not a tease, but to strike. Talons outstretched like curved scimitars. She descended in a blur of bronze and fury. The ground rushed up. Zaret reared, fangs wide and gleaming, his head flaring in a crown of death. The moment stretched, then shattered. She hit, Claws raked the stone where the serpent had been an instant before. He twisted with supernatural speed, coiling to strike. His venom-laced fangs slashed through the air, narrowly missing her wing. She beat the sky back with desperate flaps, rising, regaining control. Below them, the earth bore the marks of their battle. Shredded grass, deep gouges in stone, a raw scent of feather and venom hanging thick in the air. But Zart was not finished. He began his ascent, slithering with deadly intent toward the rocky ledge where Azra's hatchlings lay hidden. Every inch he climbed was a threat to everything she had left. And that was something she would not allow. With a final scream that pierced the heavens and sent snow dust tumbling from the cliffs, Azra rose. She climbed higher than before, riding the wind like a blade, then curved downward, fast, unstoppable, divine. Zart saw her coming, but it was too late. She twisted midair, her body coiling in perfect sync with the wind, and struck him just behind the hood, the place where fang met brain, where venom had no reach. Talons locked. The serpent thrashed, wrapping himself around her legs, binding her in a cage of muscle and rage. They crashed to the ground, rolling in a fury of wings and scales, dust and blood. Azra shrieked in pain, wings battered, one leg bleeding. Zart squeezed tighter, coils like iron, muscles flexing to crush bone. But Azra would not release her grip. And then, with wings trembling, every feather soaked in exhaustion, she rose. Slowly, painfully, inch by inch, she lifted the monstrous weight off the ground. The wind screamed in support. The valley held its breath. Higher and higher she climbed, her heart pounding against the sky itself. Then she let go. Zart fell like a curse cast from the heavens. His body twisted midair, crashing into the stone below with a sound that silenced the mountains. Bones broke, dust plumed. He tried to move. A twitch, a slither, but Azra was already descending. Her second strike was not for survival. It was for vengeance. She landed with brutal finality, talons slamming through skull and scale, ending the serpent's reign in a single savage moment. Silence followed, not hollow but holy. The storm had passed. The queen had won. The mountains were still once more, not with dread, but with reverence. Where a moment ago the cliffs had echoed with shrieks and fury, now only the soft breath of the wind remained, weaving gently through the torn grass and feather-laced dust. Azra stood over the broken remains of the serpent, her chest heaving, one wing trembling from strain, a streak of blood tracing her leg like a scar of honor. But her eyes, those ancient golden eyes, still burned with fire. She looked skyward. The clouds had parted, just slightly, letting through a warm shaft of sunlight that caught her wings and crowned her in light. She didn't cry in victory. She didn't howl in rage. She simply turned, slowly, wearily, and began her flight home. Her movements were no longer swift, no longer sharp. Every beat of her wings carried pain, but they also carried purpose. The battle was over. The price had been paid, and what mattered now waited just beyond the stone curtain of her sanctuary. As she approached the narrow ledge where the nest lay cradled in rock, soft chirps met her ears, light, rhythmic, innocent. Her chicks, untouched by the shadow that had loomed so close, blinked up at her with open beaks and blind trust. They did not know what had been risked. They did not need to. Azra folded her wings and lowered herself into the nest, her body curling protectively around the fragile lives she had fought to shield. The rock still held the fading warmth of the day, and the sky above bled into a gentle dusk, violet, gold, and soft like memory. There, in the hush of a fading sun, she closed her eyes, not in grief, not in fear, but in peace. In a world carved by cold stone and cruel instinct, where every breath is a battle and every shadow may hold a threat, one truth stand above all: a mother's love is nature's fiercest force. Azra did not fight for glory or vengeance alone. She fought for the unseen, the voiceless, the future folded in soft feathers beneath her wings. And that made her unstoppable. This is not merely the story of a bird and a serpent. It is a tale of resilience in the face of ruin, of courage born from grief, a protection that knows no limit. It reminds us that true power is not declared. It is proven, again and again, in the quiet moments when no one else is watching. In the kingdom of the wild, Dominance is not taken. It is earned through sacrifice. Legends aren't written. They're clawed into stone. Movie camera sparkles did this epic clash between eagle and snake take your breath away. Then spread your wings with us. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another heart-pounding story from the wild. Backhand index pointing down, drop a comment below and tell us, are you Team Eagle or Team Snake? Let the wild debate begin. Eagle Snake Fire.